y'all, it's Lauren and it's September, which means it's officially Blood Cancer Awareness Month and Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This video is just going to be cancer awareness in general and hopefully just kind of educate people on what not to say to cancer patients. I did want to include some blood cancer facts / statistics in this video from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So approximately every 3 minutes someone in the US is diagnosed with a blood cancer. The 3 kinds of blood cancers are leukemia, lymphoma, or myeloma. Another statistic is an estimated combined total of 186,400 people in the US are expected to be diagnosed with the blood cancer in 2021, which is a ton of people. I'm sure anyone that's watching this video is one, a cancer patient or survivor, or has known someone close to them, a family member that has had a cancer. Doesn't have to be just blood cancer. Cancer literally affects anyone at any time in their life. And for me, you know, my story, if you've watched other videos of mine, I was the patient. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, specifically primary mediastinal large B-cell lymphoma. It's very rare. It's like 2% of the non-Hodgkin's lymphomas, so I'm just a rare gal. Now I am 2 years since being diagnosed. August 23rd was my cancerversary, if you want to call it that. I am 2 years out of treatment, which is amazing. I'm seriously so grateful, and I want to continue to advocate. It's Blood Cancer Awareness Month, so obviously I'm going to do something. Before we get into all of the ridiculous comments, I just want to encourage you guys, if you're a patient or a survivor, or you just happen to click on this video, I'm going to challenge y'all to find at least one way to spread awareness this month. You can donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society or American Cancer Society, Stand Up to Cancer. I will leave those websites in the description box. Obviously you don't have to do that. There are plenty of other ways to spread awareness. On my Instagram story, I'm gonna have like tons of little like statistics or just reposts from LLS or anywhere else, and you can repost those on your story. That's another great way to spread awareness. I just challenge you to do something to help spread awareness this month. That's what I'm gonna be doing, so y'all can join me. So let's go ahead and get into these comments that you should just not say to cancer patients that are just not okay. I'm gonna share one specific story that I had. I was right off of treatment. I had just started growing my hair back. It was like peach fuzz, buzz cut, whatever you want to call it. I was out at the store. I had stopped wearing wigs at this point, which I was so bold to do. I can't believe I was just going out with barely any hair on my head. This lady comes up to me and says, you know, you're really brave to go that short. And I was so taken back. Thankfully my mom was with me, so she said, yeah, it kind of comes with the chemo package. And then the lady said, oh my gosh, but you're so young. There's not a specific age group that cancer likes to target. It's anybody at any age. Babies get cancer, young adults get cancer, teenagers get cancer, elderly people, older people get cancer. There's not a specific age range. So to say, but you're so young, doesn't really mean anything, because yeah, some cancers that older people get can be caused from like environmental factors, if they smoke, if they, you know, ate unhealthy, just whatever. But obviously when you're a young adult, my doctors told me that I was too young to, you know, get cancer from any environmental factors, and it was just spontaneous or bad luck, as they like to call it. That was the one encounter I remember where I was really taken back and really like, dang, what the heck. Now obviously I get tons of comments on like TikTok or Instagram of just trolls, but I literally just delete those, so I don't even remember them. But I'm gonna start reading some of y'all's comments that you put on my Instagram story. I've seen a lot of people say that they've had at least you have the good kind of cancer said to them. There's no such thing as a good kind of cancer. Yes, some cancers are very highly curable. It just depends on how common they are. Like lymphoma, leukemia, depending on like what age you are considered very curable, whereas other rare cancers, they aren't as common, so they can't do as much research on them, which is why they aren't as curable. But just because I got a very highly curable cancer doesn't mean it was the good kind. I've talked with some of my friends, and some people have had like longer treatments than me, or just a harder road to recovery. And we always say that we don't want to compare our situations or have like a contest on who had it worse, because both of our situations were very crappy and nothing we would ever want to do. Not worth comparing about who had it worse, because they're both very crappy situations. So I don't like to compare my situation to others, and there's definitely no such thing as a good kind of cancer, because all of them absolutely suck. A lot of comments about hair. It's just hair, it will grow back. Hair is just an accessory. Where's your hair? At least you don't have to shave anymore. All of these are about hair. So yes, hair is just an accessory. Hair grows back. Yes, it is easy easier to maintain, and yes, it was convenient to not have to shave anywhere for 5 or 6 months. But especially if, I don't know how it is for guys, because guys are kind of used to having short hair. I'm sure it affects them to some extent. But for me, I feel beautiful when I get to do my hair. I feel more feminine when I get to curl my hair, and when that was taken away from me, I did not feel like myself at all. And not only was my hair gone on my head, but I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes. So when I was getting ready for the day, I was literally drawing on my eyebrows. I was gluing on eyelashes, putting on wigs just to look normal, and that was not comfortable for me. You know, I don't like to wear a lot of makeup, and so having like all that makeup on my face and then on top of that having to wear a wig, I just did not feel like myself when I was out in public. That was the most insecure and self-conscious I've ever been. Telling someone that hair is just an accessory and hair will grow back is not going to help how crappy they're already feeling about themselves not having hair. Oh, it's just this, it's just that. You're kind of minimizing their feelings and their situation, even though they're going through something very, very hard right now. So another person said that they've gotten the comment or the question, are you gonna die? What's your prognosis? What's your chance of survival? Are you gonna make it? When you go through cancer, especially as a young adult, you have to kind of face your mortality in a way. And you know, I've gone through the thought process of, oh, what if this, what if that, what if treatment didn't work, or what if we didn't catch it in time? You know, there's a scenario where I wouldn't be alive right now. And that's really creepy for me to think about. You know, instead of just bluntly saying, are you gonna die? You can just ask, like, what's your treatment plan look like? Do you know what your protocol is? Like, what's the game plan here? Because we've probably already thought about the chances of us dying, and we don't really want to like talk about it or answer that question. It's just a very harsh way to ask someone, are you gonna make it? Are you gonna die? So maybe not say it like that. Some girl said that it's an inconvenience for them to be extra careful around me because of COVID. If they were your real friends, they wouldn't care if they had to be extra careful. They would make those arrangements to make you feel comfortable. I know for me, when quarantine first started, I would hang out with my friends outside. There were moments where I felt like a burden because they wanted to hang out and do normal things, and they would have to make special arrangements for me if they wanted to hang out. So there came a point where I just like stopped hanging out with people, and that was like a really low time for me. So still try to like hang out with your friends and see them, but if they feel like it's inconvenient for them to make arrangements for you to feel comfortable, then they're not your real friends. My friend Rachel said that she's gotten the comment, it's over now, you're fine, stop talking about it. There is this assumption that after treatment, because treatment's over and you've gotten the okay, like you're good to go, your scans are clear, that all of a sudden all of your mental health problems are gone, and all of your anxiety about cancer and the possibility of relapsing is just not there. It's non-existent. Just because you're done with treatment doesn't mean you have to shut out that part of your life. And I think it's really important for survivors and patients, if they're comfortable, to share their story so the word can get out there more. Obviously you can't force people to care that have never been directly affected by cancer, but you can still, you know, spread awareness in whatever ways you want to. For me, like, I'm 2 years out and I'm starting to get to the point where I obviously post more videos about college, but I'm still gonna talk about my cancer experience, especially when it's like Blood Cancer Awareness Month, because it is a part of my life and I've accepted that, and I don't try to just push it away. I'm so grateful that that experience gave me the courage and the opportunity to share my story online, because it helps so many people out there, and it's just a great way to connect with other patients and survivors. So yes, I am moving forward from that part of my life, but I'm also not just trying to completely shut it out and ignore it and pretend that it didn't happen, because it did. And I'm also not letting that 5 to 6 month period of my life define all of me, because I'm so much more than a cancer patient and a cancer survivor. So my friend Sky said, it could be worse, you're not capable of doing blank. It could be worse. Again, you are minimizing their situation when you say that. Maybe it could be worse, but for them, this is their worst. This is their worst case scenario. You're not capable of doing blank. That's just such a rude thing to say. Honestly, like, I don't know who would say that. I've caught myself, you know, beating myself up and thinking I'm incapable of doing some things, and then I go and do it and I prove myself wrong, and I'm like, heck yeah, I'm still the girl I was before, just a better version. She also said someone said to her, but you don't look sick. And I've heard this one a lot. There are a lot of chemos, yes, that cause hair loss and that cause all of the horrible side effects, but there are so many different ways to receive chemo chemo through an IV. They also have oral chemo. Some drugs don't cause hair loss, and that is just another terrible like stereotype. If they don't look that sick, like, we're not going to treat you as sick, I guess. Just because a patient might not look sick doesn't mean that they aren't sick. They can have a lot of stuff going on in their body that you don't know about. Not every cancer patient looks the same, and that doesn't mean that they're any less sick. Someone said, wow, you gained so much weight. They're talking about like weight fluctuation when you're going through treatment. For me, I was on a dosage of steroids, and I'm not sure how much the dosage was, but there are a lot of people that are on a higher dosage of steroids than I was, and they do gain weight. So your weight fluctuates a lot when you're going through chemo, and a lot of cancer patients lose weight because they don't have an appetite. They get really nauseous from treatment and stuff, and it's just not good to comment on someone's weight, especially when they're going through something health-wise, because they've probably already noticed it, and you saying something about it is not going to help how they feel about it. For me personally, I was an athlete in high school, worked out 5 times a week, and so I was very muscular, had a lot of muscle weight on me. And when I got sick, I stopped working out. I was not as active. Obviously, I got weaker, so I lost a lot of the muscle weight that I had before, and I did lose some weight. I was also very anxious through like COVID and time period after I was done with cancer treatment. You know how anxiety can like affect your appetite. Well, I wasn't eating as much, and I ended up losing a little more weight because of that. And I remember I got a comment from someone on the internet saying, have you lost weight? Have you always been that skinny? Or I don't know what the comment was, but it really affected me. Another person said she's gotten the comment, my friend's grandma had that type, she died. It is never a good idea. If you have like a survivor story, that's great. It can provide so much hope and like encouragement for the patient. I know I've gotten comments of people saying that they're a survivor of like 16 years from the same type of cancer I did, and that gives me so much hope that like, okay, I'm gonna make it there. I'm gonna be totally okay. If you tell me that someone died from the type of cancer I had, that's just horrible. That's gonna make me very anxious, like, oh my gosh, they died. What was their situation like? What if that happens to me? It just starts a whole spiral. So just try to remain positive with whatever you're saying to a patient. You're so brave for cutting your hair like that. I could never. Stay positive. You're so brave and stay positive. They aren't necessarily bad comments. Like, we appreciate that. We hear it so much that it's kind of, for me, it's just lost the meaning. I'm like, what does stay positive and you're so brave even mean? Like, and also it's kind of impossible to stay positive all the time when you're going through cancer treatment. So telling someone to stay positive is kind of unrealistic, because we're obviously going to have our bad days where we want to cry and die and we feel horrible. So it's impossible, and it's also okay to have bad days. Yeah, I want to talk about this also. There's this cliche that you're supposed to be a better person, you're supposed to be stronger, you're supposed to be this or that after cancer. And I've thought about it. I'm like, am I really a better person, or am I just the same person I was before with like a little more wisdom, a little more knowledge on like what life is really about? I really do think about that, because I still mess up. I'm still immature sometimes. I still make mistakes. Like, I'm not just this superhero because I went through something crappy in life. Another phrase that I've gotten a lot goes along with like, you're so strong, you're so brave. I could never do what you are doing. If you were faced with cancer, you're just saying you couldn't do it. Instead of chemo, you just choose to die. Like, no, obviously you're gonna go through chemo because you want to live. So if you were put in the situation where you were diagnosed with cancer, you could do it too. Did I ever think I could go through cancer treatment? Heck no. I ended up having to do it, and it was horrible, but I got through it, and you will too if you're ever faced with that. I don't know why you're so depressed. You should be happy you beat cancer. This goes along with like the stereotype and assumption that you're just totally okay after cancer treatment. I don't think people understand that half of the experience and half of the battle is dealing with the PTSD and all of the mental health problems that arise after you go through treatment. Because when you're going through treatment, for me personally, and this is just my personal experience, my body was in fight or flight mode. I felt so dissociated, like I just couldn't believe I was in this situation, so I kind of like dissociated myself, I guess. And so after I was done with treatment and I was getting better and I was feeling more like myself, I had a lot of time to reflect on what I actually went through and how serious it was. When I was going through treatment, I had a schedule, I had a plan. I knew what days I was going in for checkups. I knew what days I was going in for chemo. I knew when I was getting scanned. And so there was this structure that kind of gave me a little sense of control. And once I was done, I wasn't going in for checkups as often or scans. And so that safety net kind of felt like it had been removed. And so there was this room for, you know, the possibility of relapse relapse. There were a possibility of a lot of things going wrong, and that's when a lot of the anxiety started to present itself. So, and the last one, the most annoying one of them all, take vitamins. I used herbs to cure my cancer. I chose to cure my cancer with typical chemotherapy treatment. I hope you all enjoyed reading through those comments and kind of giving my commentary. Again, I will leave some resources in the description box if you want to help advocate and spread awareness this month. And yeah, just find one way you can make an impact this month. Trust me, it does not go unnoticed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like. Comment down below if you have any other comments that you've heard. Please, I want to hear y'all's experiences. And also subscribe for more college and cancer related content like this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!